Question 1. You are hosting a static website on an Amazon S3 bucket and want to configure your custom root domain, e.g. example.com, to point to the S3 static website endpoint. Which Route 53 record type should you use, and what is its primary advantage over a CNAME record in this specific scenario?
Option A. CNAME record. It allows pointing a naked domain to an S3 bucket. Option B. Alias record. It allows pointing a naked domain to an S3 bucket and automatically tracks IP address changes of the target AWS resource. Option C. A record. It provides a direct IP mapping for the S3 bucket's public IP address. Option D. MX record. It is specifically designed for website hosting. The correct answer is alias record. It allows pointing a naked domain to an S3 bucket and automatically tracks IP address changes of the target AWS resource. Here's the explanation. Alias records are a Route 53 specific feature that allows mapping a naked domain, like example.com, to AWS resources like S3 static website endpoints. A key advantage is that they automatically track the IP address changes of the target AWS resource, and they can be used for naked domains, unlike CNAME records which cannot be used for the root domain. Question 2. A global application is deployed across multiple AWS regions, e.g., US East 1 and EU West 1. The company wants to ensure that users are directed to the application endpoint that provides the lowest network latency, improving user experience. Which Route 53 routing policy should be implemented? Option A. Weighted routing. Option B. Geolocation routing. Option C. Latency routing. Option D. Failover routing. The correct answer is latency routing. Here's the explanation. Latency routing routes traffic to the resource that provides the lowest network latency for the user. This directly addresses the requirement to direct users to the closest, most performant application endpoint based on network latency. Question 3. A company has several internal microservices running on EC2 instances within a VPC. They want to use friendly custom domain names, e.g. auth.internal.example.com, for these services, which should only be resolvable from within their VPC and not from the public internet. Which Route 53 feature should be used to achieve this? Option A. Public hosted zone. Option B. Private hosted zone. Option C. Simple routing policy. Option D. DNSSEC. The correct answer is private hosted zone. Here's the explanation. Private hosted zones are designed for managing DNS resolution within one or more Amazon Virtual Private Clouds, VPCs. This allows for the creation of custom internal domain names that resolve only within the specified VPCs, keeping internal service names private and secure. Question 4. A company wants to introduce a new feature to their web application. They need to direct 5% of their users to the new version, version B, and the remaining 95% to the existing stable version, version A, for A/B testing purposes. Both versions are hosted behind separate application load balancers in the same AWS region. Which Route 53 routing policy should they implement? Option A. Latency routing policy. Option B. Failover routing policy. Option C. Weighted routing policy. Option D. Geolocation routing policy. The correct answer is weighted routing policy. Here's the explanation. Weighted routing policy allows you to distribute traffic to multiple resources based on weights you assign, making it ideal for A/B testing or gradual rollouts by sending a specified percentage of traffic to different versions of an application. Question 5. Which of the following Route 53 routing policies require the use of health checks to effectively manage traffic based on resource availability? Option A. Simple routing policy and latency routing policy. Option B. failover routing policy and weighted routing policy. Option C, geolocation routing policy and simple routing policy. Option D, latency routing policy and multi-value answer routing policy. The correct answer is failover routing policy and weighted routing policy. Here's the explanation. Health checks are a critical component that integrates with failover, weighted, and multi-value answer routing policies to ensure traffic is only directed to healthy resources. Simple and latency policies do not directly use health checks for their routing logic. Question 6. A global company wants to route users to the closest or most responsive application endpoint to minimize latency. They have deployed their application in multiple AWS regions. Which Route 53 routing policy is best suited for this requirement? Option A, geolocation routing policy. Option B, geoproximity routing policy. Option C, latency routing policy. Option D, multi-value answer routing policy. The correct answer is latency routing policy. Here's the explanation. The latency routing policy routes user requests to the AWS region that provides the lowest latency for the querying user, which directly improves performance for globally distributed applications by directing users to the closest or most responsive endpoint. Question 7. A company wants to serve static content, images, videos, from an S3 bucket globally, with low latency and enhanced security, ensuring users cannot bypass the CDN to access content directly from S3. Which CloudFront feature, along with its security mechanism, should be used? Option A, a CloudFront distribution with an EC2 origin and AWS WAF. Option B, a CloudFront distribution with an S3 origin and Origin Access Identity (OAI), or Origin Access Control (OAC). Option C, an Elastic Load Balancer (ELB) in front of S3, integrated with CloudFront. Option D, CloudFront with signed URLs, pointing directly to S3 bucket URLs. The correct answer is a CloudFront distribution with an S3 origin and Origin Access Identity (OAI), or Origin Access Control (OAC). Here's the explanation. CloudFront is ideal for serving static content from S3 globally with low latency. Origin Access Identity (OAI) or Origin Access Control (OAC) are security features specifically designed to restrict direct access to S3 origins, ensuring that users can only access content through CloudFront, thereby enhancing security and control. Question 8. A user requests content from a CloudFront-enabled website. The request first hits the nearest edge location, but the content is not found in its cache. What is the next step CloudFront typically takes to retrieve the content? Option A, the request is immediately forwarded to the origin server. Option B, the request is forwarded to the nearest regional edge cache. Option C, CloudFront returns a 404 not found error to the user. Option D, CloudFront attempts to retrieve the content from another, less busy edge location. The correct answer is the request is forwarded to the nearest regional edge cache. Here's the explanation. If content is not found in an edge location's cache, a cache miss, the request is forwarded to the nearest regional edge cache. This intermediate caching layer has a larger capacity and serves to further reduce the load on origins and improve cache hit ratios. Question 9. Which CloudFront feature allows developers to run serverless code at edge locations to customize content delivery, such as for A/B testing, dynamic content generation, or advanced access control? Option A, CloudFront distributions. Option B, signed URLs. Option C, Lambda at edge. Option D, regional edge caches. The correct answer is
Lambda at Edge. Here's the explanation. Lambda at Edge allows you to run serverless code at CloudFront Edge locations in response to CloudFront events: viewer request, origin response, viewer response. This enables custom logic like A/B testing, dynamic content generation, or advanced access control without impacting origin performance. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.